Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Bowls Victoria training webinar. My name's Matt Tobre, Club Education and Training Manager at BV, and I'll be your presenter for today. If this is your first time viewing a webinar, just a couple of reminders here. It's very similar to being in the cinema, so you get to sit back and relax and let me do all the work. You do have the option of throwing in some questions that I can definitely answer later in the session. So throughout the presentation, if there's a question that pops into your mind, use the chat feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. I've got Mel Allen, so a big thank you to Mel, who'll be manning those questions, and we'll be presenting them later on in the today's session. Also, for the first time, we're going to be doing a live replay of this webinar. So this Friday, the 5th of September at 10 a.m, we'll do a live replay, and I'll be manning the Q&A that session. So if you want to join us again on Friday, do that. Or if you've got some people you know that can't attend today and want to watch it live with me replying to questions, join us on Friday. Here's the jam-packed agenda for today. We've got a lot to get through, so I'll do my best to do it nice and slowly and get through as much as I can. So we're going to look at logging in first. We'll then look at the membership side of Bowlslink, and obviously I probably didn't mention today's webinar is all about preparing our new club admins for the season ahead. So we'll look at membership types, we'll look at how to access your members, we'll look at transfers, which we get a lot of questions about. There's also some great reports in there that you can download. I'll show you that. We'll talk about club details and how important it is to update that every year. I'll then show you 3 features that I won't provide training for. So we'll talk about how your club can use competitions, events, and email campaigns. I'll then got a slide on the 6 things that you need to do prior to the new season. I'll demonstrate the quickest way to find club contact details off our website. It's a common question we get. Provide some training resources, and then, as I mentioned, Mel Allen will come on and ask some questions. There is a tip at the bottom of this screen. This happened just recently. If Bowlslink has an upgrade, which can happen, don't forget to refresh your browser, and it needs to be a Control-R on your browser screen. All right, I'm just going to share my Bowlslink screen now, and we'll get started. All right, so here we've got the Bowls login screen. Once you log in and you've put your 2-factor code in, you'll get this option to select your profile. I'm using the beta program today, so they're not real accounts. So I would be going under Club Administration, and I'm going to click on Bandura. This catches out a lot of our new club admin. Club Administration in grey, that's just a heading. I can't click on that. All I can click on in green is my club name. And my clubs is what our standard users see, so people without club admin access. And if you happen to be a dual member, you'll get 2 clubs underneath your list. All right, so I'm going to click on Club Admin Bandura RSL, and I'm going to go straight into the database. And what I'm going to do now is just work my way down the left-hand side menu. So the first thing you're going to see when you come into the Club Admin is membership. If you see member overview, you're in your My Clubs profile. So to change that, where your club name is, down arrow, and click under Club Administration and your club name. All right, I've got a list of all my players here. their national ID numbers. So NIN, if you see the word NIN, it means national ID. What their membership type is, participation, we'll talk about that in a moment. Their financial too, certifications, obviously your club name. Now, if you see anyone like Moses, and your club name is not in bold, that means that they're a dual member. So their primary club is somewhere else. So if I click on the first or last name, it does say Bundura RSL in dark blue. Maybe the primary club has archived this person, so the primary club will be in light blue. What a great example there. See if there's another one. There's not. So just be aware that anyone where their club name is not in bold, that means they're not primary with your club. Okay, so there's a couple of things I can do here with my members. I can go to the action button and I can edit the member. That takes me to some details here. Just a reminder that really our members should only have one email address, and that should be in the key details. Personal information, you can find another email in here. I would seriously avoid having two different emails because the system can sometimes send one thing to one of those emails. So I'd be advising just one email in the key details, and that should be repeated in the personal information. I'll go back. The way that I like to access my members is through their dashboard. That's clicking on their first or last name. And then I get a whole lot of things that I can do with this member. So the first thing I see is all their details. I get an overview of that member, their membership information. So I can see this membership type's expired, and then I also get to see their certifications. I then can go to their membership tab and see all their membership types, have a look at their accounts, and so on. So that's a good way to access your member and get some information. We'll move to membership types. This is really important and great to see a lot of our clubs have updated this for the new season. This is the big change that came in just before last season. So previously we would make our members financial. So we'd put a financial to date and we'd give them a category, and then we'd just change the financial to date every year. We've put some improvements in here, and we now have membership types that we apply to our members annually. You get to choose what these types are. You get to choose the participation type that goes with them. You also have the ability now to put payments in here and get your members to pay. Majority of our clubs are not using that, so they've just got a zero value in their fee package, but you have the ability to do that. In the action button, I'll have a look at full member, which is competition bowler. So anyone playing pennant must have that participation type. I can go to edit type, and this is the one thing that our club admins really need to understand is that we have a fixed annual expiry in here. You can change it to flexible, it's up to you, but I would go with fixed annual and set your day and your month. So this membership type here, which is full, and at the bottom, competition bowler, expires on 30 June. So we had a lot of clubs applying these membership types before 30 June, and what would happen is the membership type, I'll show you how to apply it in a moment, would expire in the same year. So if I applied it on the 1st of May 2025, that membership type would expire on 30 June 2025. So you've really got to be aware of the fixed annual expiry day and month and apply these types once they have expired. So 30 June, I'm doing it the 1st of September. I'll be quite safe. So I'll go back to my members. The process can be done in bulk. So you do not need to be doing it member by member. So I could choose my first 3 members on my list. I now get a dark blue ribbon here, and I get 3 options. The option I would be choosing is add membership. I get to choose. These are full members because they are playing pennant and they've paid their full membership. My start date might be backdated to 1st of July, knowing that this expired on the 1st of June. Don't really need to put a date, time in there, and I just hit add. You'll see that they've now quickly gone to green. Close that. And we might need to just refresh. All right, now I'll just have a look at that member in there and their membership. Okay, should have been aware of this. There was a payment in those membership types, which I wasn't aware of. So if you do have a cost in there, it won't be approved straight away. You'll need to come in here and pay the invoice, so record payment. And let's just say that was made by cash over the bar, hit pay. Now that's been that. I'm going to refresh it. And just an example, now has that green button that our pennant bowlers need to have. All right, that's membership types. Groups, I would only use these for email campaigns. So I could set up one for my newsletter. So I'd add a new member group up here. Call it newsletter. Give it a description. And I need to tick yes to is an email campaign. If you don't tick this, you don't get the option to turn it into an email campaign. So always tick and hit save. So there's my newsletter one. I go back to my member list. And if I wanted to put all of these members, up the top it will tell us we have 93. I can tick this little box here next to last name. It selects all my members, add to group, choose the group newsletter, and assign. Hopefully that won't take too long, but there is 93 members to get through. So email campaigns are fantastic. I believe it's the best way to send out your newsletter. You do need to add the members into that group, which we see now, 93 members. And then when you're in your email campaign, you can select that group and it'll send an email to all of them. And when your members update their email address, that gets updated instantly as well. Certifications. This is where you get to see all your certifications. So it could be your pennant permits. It could be your RSA. You will see Bowls Australia coaching and officiating certificates in here as well. Only Bowls Victoria get to approve those. So what I would be doing in here is in my members, I'd be doing a filter and I'd be looking for my expired ones or approved and just getting a really good record of what certs my members have and whether they need to update them or not. Obviously, members will see that in their own profile. Transfers, this is where you come to not to do a transfer, but to see the status of a transfer. So we've got pending, approved ones, and any if they've been rejected. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my slideshow again, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about the transfer process. So I'm going to go to my next slide. And here is the transfer process that all our club administrators need to know. It's not an easy process. It took me a lot of time to get used to it, but I'll try and explain it the best I can. So if you're doing a full transfer, then this is actually within Australia now. So there's no more paper forms for interstate transfers, where all states are using the system. You need to add an existing member. I'll do a demonstration in a moment. There's a really cool search feature now that allows you to find the member, which is just a great improvement. So once you've found the member, you get two options. You get the invite or the invite and transfer. So if you're transferring anyone, you've got to hit the button that has invite and transfer. What happens then is a couple things and a lot of emails. An invitation is sent to the member that you're transferring to your club and also their primary club. That invitation needs to be accepted. And I would say 90% of the time, it's accepted by the member. Sometimes the primary club, especially if the member doesn't have an email in their profile, they can accept it on their behalf. But primary clubs, that's not the end of the process. You need to then go into your Bowlslink, and I'll demonstrate this, and you need to approve it. So just accepting the invitation is not enough. It'll sit as a pending, and primary clubs need to approve. Once that's been approved, primary club changes. Got a bit of an asterisk here. It's a slightly different process for members who want to transfer back. So I've got a member who's left. They've followed the transfer process and they want to come back. I'll show you that as well. Now, dual members, especially if you've got pennant permits, you need to get them into your database, but their primary club is not yours. So similar process, add existing member, search for them, and you're only clicking invite. Invitation is sent, and most of the time it's the member accepts it. They come into your database, but primary club is not yours. You won't be invoiced affiliation fee for these members. There is a warning at the bottom here that archive members can be transferred. So just be careful when you archive a member if you think that they're not going to be playing this season, because they can get transferred without you knowing. It's a little bit slightly different, but they can get transferred. So my advice is keep them in your database. Once the transfer's been done, then you're archiving that member, or they may stay on as a dual member. I'll go and demonstrate that now in Bowlslink. So here's a list of approved. When that invitation gets accepted, they come and sit in pending. So I go to members, I go to add member. I get two options. New member is brand new, so never been in Bowlslink and probably new to the sport. Existing member are the ones that are coming from another club. So I click on existing member. Here's the new search feature. So if I type the member's last name, and straight away you'll see that there's myself, and primary club here is Bandura RSL. So select, and there's my two options. So that's the one if I'm going to do a dual membership. This is the one if I'm going to do a full transfer. All right, exports. I don't think many clubs are using this. This is a really big export that you can do. I'd be going to reports, and here I have a whole lot of tailored reports that I can be downloading and that I can configure. First one I would be doing is member key details. Work out which ones you want here. And I'd download it, and I would go around and then update that from my members and make sure that all their details are updated. There's also transfers, financial and participation data. So there's some great reports here. Just have a good read of the description, and make sure you configure it to the way that you want to do it. All right, moving on to the club area. In here, there's a whole lot of details about your club. We really need all our clubs now to be updating this. So if you click update details, then you can work your way through. If you want to put your logo in here, that will go into the result portal. Recommend doing that. Affiliations, so work what district or region you're in. Then there's a whole lot of information about different areas that we want you to fill in. And finally, your social media. Next bit we really need is your current positions on your board. If you don't have a bowls coordinator, don't apply it. We really want to see president, secretary, and treasurer. So to put someone in here, put the create an appointment, select the member. Say Robin is our president. Now Rob has a start date of today and an end date won't be today, it'll be next year. And I hit submit. Robin comes in here. This is one thing that catches out a lot of our clubs. How do I change this person? So you might have someone currently sitting in that position and they're no longer the president. How do I get them out of there, put our new president in? If I click the edit, I actually don't get to change the person's name. So what you need to do is you need to end their term. So we need to have a different end date in here. I might make it that Rob ended on the 31st and submit. Okay, it's not letting me do that. I'll change their start date to the 1st of October. It wasn't a long stint for Rob. Okay, Rob now comes out of president and you can put your new president in. So bit of work to be done here for clubs. Click on update details and get all this information filled in and make sure your current positions are updated. Greens, you just get to see what your greens are, which we can have a look at in a moment. You can't get to change them. You need to speak to Bowls Victoria to get them changed. So we'll go straight to greens. Greens for Bundoora RSL is just one, and it's 8 rinks. If you need to add another one or you've got different rink structure, just let me know at Bowls Victoria and I'll fix them up for you. All right, so we've gone through membership. We've looked at how we can use our members. We've looked at membership types, really important to have that updated before this pennant season. We've looked at member groups, just a great way of emailing. Also quickly looked at the area that you can look at your certifications, gone through the transfer process, and we've talked about reports. All right, the next 3 that we'll look at, it's more about how these can help your club and not training on how to use these. I think each of these 3 capabilities require their own training session and sometimes quite detailed. Competition does require a lot of work and a lot of practice. We're looking at running another training session on its own to help clubs with that. But if you click on comps, you get to see 5 statuses here: draft, active, in play, completed, and cancelled. Basically, this is where you, as a club, can create your tournaments or your club championships. It's created through the Add Competition button. You get 2 options, quick and advanced. I'll leave it at that because it is quite detailed, and I'll show you where there's some training, and look out for another one of our training webinars coming up soon. Events, you'll see in here that I've put an event in for Bundoora RSL. It's the pre-season launch. Events is a great way of taking payment and taking bookings. I wouldn't use competitions just to take bookings and payment. I would be putting them in here in events, and there are events that you hold at your club. So I know there's a lot of clubs coming into this season. We'll have a pre-season launch. Create it here. We can send the booking link to all our members. They can go in, book themselves. Sometimes they can even book other people as well. Single bookings are really good, and you can take payment. I use them a lot for coaching courses, and I'll show you how to access all of those in your profile. Email campaigns, again, I think this is its own webinar, and we have done one on this previously, but what you've got in here is an overview. So it shows you the emails that you've sent and your subscriber lists. Campaigns is where you create them. You look at campaigns that you've got. Lists and subscribers. Now that membership one hasn't come through, so we might need to synchronize that one. But that's where you get your different subscriber lists and insights. It's a great way of seeing your data. All right, finances. The only thing that I would look at here is in fees. If your club decides down the track to actually get your members to pay their memberships or their membership types, you need to put a fee value in here, which flow into fee packages, and those fee packages then flow into your membership types. So just remember, as I showed you before, if I click on Robin and I go to membership, because there's a value in there, I need to record payment, or I need Robin to pay that herself. Integrations, this has only just been activated. Bowlslink or Bowls Australia have gone to a new payment provider called PIN Payments. So any clubs that are thinking about taking payment in competitions or events, they need to onboard. So you need to click enable, and there's also a document on how to do this. I won't go through it today, but you need to do that in order to start taking payments. The result portal takes us to another website. We all know the result portal. It's fantastic. Great way to see your pennant results. And Bowls Learn is the last one. Again, it takes you to a different website. If you click on the course catalog, you get to see your officiating and your coaching courses. You also get to see a lot of Bowlslink modules that BA have created. If you are thinking about running some club competitions, there is one on competitions that I recommend. What you do need to do in order to do the course is you need to click login. There's a couple of courses. I think it's the selection module and the intro course. You have to pay in order to do those. The rest of them, they're all free. And obviously, Club Coach has an on-green component, and all our officiating courses have an on-green assessment. Won't talk too much about that today. So we've got to the bottom of our left-hand menu. I'll get back to our slideshow. All right, so I've gone through logging in. Just be careful about choosing your profile. We've talked about members, membership types, transfers, and reports. I've shown you how to update your details in Bowlslink as a club. Just quickly gave you an overview of competition, events, and email campaigns. Do recommend using all three of those. So the next thing we're going to look at is to-do lists. So 6 things you must do prior to this new season. All right, number 1 is update your club details on the BV website, and I'll demonstrate that shortly off our website. You need to organise your pennant permits. They need to be in by round 1. I'll show you where to get that information, how the process works. You need to manage your Bowlslink club admin rights. So one of the developments that we've asked for in Bowlslink that hasn't happened yet, and we're hoping it will shortly, is a way for club admins to know who their club admins are in the club. If you're not sure, please send me an email and I'll give you a list of who they are, but you need to know who has club admin access, and coming into the new season, you need to add or remove. Really big one. Check your certifications of your members. So I would be checking to see who's currently an official and who's currently coaching. And I'd be definitely letting those members know the reaccreditation process. Not your responsibility to do it for them, but it could definitely help your members if you let them know. Check your greens that they're correct in Bowlslink and send me an email if they're not. And obviously the last one, you need to update your club membership types. So I'm just going to go back to membership types. We got a lot of questions about this. So what are we going to get charged affiliation fee for? And what do we do if we don't apply a membership type to a member? So firstly, what membership types get charged affiliation? It comes down to the participation type that sits in the membership type. So there's 2 participation types that you'll be charged affiliation fee for. That's competition bowlers. So that's members who are playing pennant or state events or club champs. It's also social club bowlers. Now, these are the bowlers who are not playing pennant, but are playing your weekly competitions and may even play some limited club championships. Program bowlers, so your Jack Attack members, you're not going to get charged affiliation for. Obviously, non-player, you're not going to get charged affiliation. And your one-off barefooters, if you put them in, they're an experience. Again, you won't get charged affiliation fee. So just be aware, the 2 participation types that you'll get charged affiliation fee for are competition bowler and social club bowler. Now, if I go back to my members list, you'll see that just an example, is the only member who has a participation type. Now, if I don't identify the rest of my members in this list with a participation type, I'm going to get charged affiliation fee for them. So really important that you identify each of your member and how they're participating at your club. I'll go through that list again. So they're either a barefooter, they might be social and not playing at all. They could be a Jack Attack member. They could be those members who play your weekly comps and not fully committing to pennant or region or your club champs. And obviously all your pennant bowlers, region players and state champs, you're going to get charged affiliation. All right, I'll go back to my slideshow. Next slide is training resources. So I will look at the Bowls Victoria website very shortly. So there's Bowls Learn. I showed you that there's quite a few modules in there that you can do. There's the BA support website. I'll show you when I get back to my Bowlslink screen how to access that. BA have done a great job with this website. They're updating articles weekly. So if you really like user manuals or videos or step-by-step guides, this support website is fantastic. And then obviously you've got myself at BV being the main point of call for training and support with Bowlslink. There's our website. So I'll now go back to our website. in here, how do I access the BA support website? I click on Request Support. Now, please don't click on Request an Administrator account through here, because that goes to BA and then comes back to me anyway. I'll show you how to do that on our support website. If you've got a bug, probably a good idea to send it to me. I may then need to forward on to BA. But if you click on View User Manuals, that takes you to, well, won't take you there. It'll take you to this page, which is the BA support website. You've got categories here that you can click on. So if you want to look at how to do club champs, competitions, got a whole lot of articles here. And this one here is how to create a club competition. So as I said, there's a mixture of videos, and there's also step-by-step guides and manuals. Highly recommend that. Browse by category is another good way of searching for what you're looking for. Okay. Right, on our website, Club Assist and down to Bowlslink. There's a shortcut to the BA support website if you can't find it. Here's probably our most requested form, how to change your club admin, so add or remove. So click on that link, fill in the online form. I'm checking them daily at the moment, and I'll email you back when I've finished. There's a couple step-by-step guides that I've stopped using now because BA are really doing more and more. But there's some good ones on how to log in and out, reset your password, access Bowlslearn. There's a good one, a couple of good ones for pennant, how to put your pennant teams in, results, allow others to manage. You can get them on here, and you can also get them on the BA support website. Here is where we put our webinar recordings. Late last year, I did one on membership. I think today's one will replace that. There's a couple on email campaigns and competitions. Help videos, we're going to do a lot more of these. So we're looking at no more than 5 minutes and how to do certain things in Bowlslink. If your top team is doing live scoring this year, can't go past this short video, 4 minutes, and it shows you how to do the process. All right, I've got one thing on here on how to update your club details on the BV website. So to do that, go to Resource Hub underneath Club Assist. This is the BV Member Resource Hub, and update your club or region contacts. So we need clubs to do that yearly. Update your key club contacts, and you probably need to do it for your regions as well. Pennant permits, under pennant permits and transfers. There's a new process for this year. So we need the permit club to complete this form. And obviously we're expecting permission on behalf of the player. Step 2 is we email the primary club letting them know that a permit's been applied for, and they get the option to approve or reject. If the primary club approves that permit, you'll need to apply a pennant permit certificate. You'll get an email about this and a short training video. And then the pennant permit club will need to put them as a dual member, and we approve the permit. So I've gone through that really quickly, but always come back to here, pennant, permits and transfers. Okay, I think I've ticked off most of those on our website. I'll go back to our slideshow, and I think it might be time to take some questions from Mel.
Hello. Would
Hey,
you
Mel.
believe we have no questions have come through so far, which means you must have done a pretty good job, Matt.
Really? I can't believe that, Mel.
However, I've got a question.
Go for it.
There's a change coming, I believe, on the 1st of October with how people access Bowlslink
Yeah,
and Bowls Now, the existing Bowls Now app. Some changes heading our way.
yeah. Expect some socials from us very shortly, and I know our club admins get emailed by BA as well, so they've probably got an email about this. The Bowls Now app, which we've all been loving, gets all your results really quickly. That's changing so it's going to be rebranded Bowlslink. So no longer Bowls Now, be Bowlslink. It will have a couple really great capabilities. It'll have a member login, which we don't have at the moment. And that means that our members, so not club admin, but our standard user members probably won't need to log in the way that they do at the moment. They won't need to go to a website, put bowlslink.com.au and log in. They log into the app. The app will also have a really simple way of entering competitions and paying as well. So I think this is a really good advancement for our sport. Moving Bowlslink to an app is what a lot of our members have been crying out for. 1st of October, Mel. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be hitting our members with a lot of information about this, and I know our members are looking forward to it.
Yeah, we've had a sneak preview, and I think we've shared a little bit with the regions on a recent region meeting. So a few people have seen a bit of a preview of it. It's going to be great. We'll have some good training content to share on that in the next couple of weeks. We've had one question comes.
A lot of our members are going to their mobile to do things that they really need to be doing on a larger device. I think it's just moving what they can do on a larger device into an app and make it user friendly.
Yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely.
Mel,
We've had a lot of
question?
feedback over the years about the current setup not being very mobile friendly. So Bowls Australia have done a lot of work to try to rectify some of those ongoing issues. So yeah, you'll see that in the new version. But yes, we have got some questions come through, so I'll run through some of those now.
Go for it.
First one's regarding permits. What happens if the primary club, does not approve the permit?
So that's the second stage in the process. So the permit form's been filled out by the permit club on behalf of them and the player. And then they get an email from us to the primary club. The primary club denies the permit. They need to send an email back to us. And then we would let the permit club know that the primary club is not agreeing to this permit. So there may have to be then some discussion between those two clubs and the player. But we've put a lot of thought into that process. We've made changes to last year because we had a couple examples where primary clubs didn't approve and permits went through. So there's been a lot of thought gone into the process, and we've not saying it's perfect yet, but it'll pick up some of those things that happened last year.
Right, thank you. Next question is about the membership payments side of things. Do we know whether there's any integrations with existing finance packages like MyOb and Xero for transferring of data?
Yeah, I've listened to the developers talk a lot about payments. Unfortunately, there's no integration at the moment to MyOb or Xero. Yeah, it's just a way really for clubs who don't have a good finance program at the moment to actually start taking payments from their members and track it all. So I think it's some really good improvements for clubs who need that support, but the ones at the moment who have good finance programs, I'd probably keep going that way, but look out for some success stories shortly about some clubs that have moved to players paying their own memberships.
Okay, thanks. One further question on the new app and entering teams. Will team changes be done via the revised app for Pennant Day?
Okay, this is a good question. So just come back to this Bowlslink app. It's not an app for side managers to do their teams. So they'll still need to do that, unfortunately, through logging into a larger device and not through the app. Also, the app, it won't have capabilities for players to start live scoring. They still need to use the scoring app. Hopefully down the track, we could see some integrations of the scoring app going in there and managing your teams. But at the moment, it's just replacing probably the way that a lot of our members sign into their accounts. So side managers, you're still going to need to log into a larger device and do your teams through there. People who are doing live scoring, you're still going to have to log into the scoring app to put the scores into Bowlslink. But hopefully down the track, Mel, we can get some integration going.
Yeah, I think it's pleasing to see that there's seems to be a lot more progress and ongoing improvement to the system, particularly over the last 12 months.
Yep.
We've just had another question come in. Can you expand on the social barefoot bowlers affiliation process, please?
Okay, I might share my screen again, just one moment. I think what the member here is talking about is affiliation fees and what they're going to get charged for and what they're not going to get charged for. And this is really important for club admins to be clear on, because we do get a lot of emails and calls saying our numbers are different to what you've got at BV. So we'll go back over this again, Mel.
And I think just in general, aside from the way that clubs are using Bowlslink and the membership module, it's also a little bit about your process within your club. So Matt, you mentioned a few times about competition bowlers and pennant bowlers. We are aware that at some clubs they do have bowlers that are not playing pennant but still want to participate in club championships and that type of thing if the club allows for that within their constitution and rules and regulations and so on. So there's not only pennant bowls that is considered competition.
Yeah, good point, Mel. So what I've done here, I haven't gone back into my Bowlslink again here. Well, I've gone to the support website and I went under membership and explore more. And I've gone to this article here on participation types in Bowlslink. This shows it really well, and it correlates to your dots that you see in Bowlslink. So if we start from the top, a non-player has a red dot, and previously it was no playing rights. An experienced bowler, as it says over here, ways to play is really one-off functions. And I don't think there'll be a lot of clubs who are probably putting their barefooters into Bowlslink. They'll probably be managing them maybe in another database and continue to send information to them. I know a lot of clubs are running with Jack Attack or night competitions or corporate bowls, which is fantastic. It's a great way to grow new membership. They need to have the program participation type. And again, they're only playing, 3 or 4 weeks, one night. You're not going to get charged affiliation for these people. And hopefully down the track, they will take up maybe a social club bowler or a competition bowler participation type. Now, social club bowlers, these clubs have them, and I don't know whether you've got any at your club, Mel, but they're the ones that play your weekly tournaments and don't play pennant, region, or club champs. But they're playing weekly on your greens and maybe some of your club championships. So they will get charged affiliation. And obviously anyone playing is a competition bowler playing club, BA events, Bowls Victoria events, region events, you're going to get charged affiliation fee for them. So have a look at your membership types. Just check what participation type is sitting in them. and apply them to your members. As I said before, if let's log me up. That's fantastic. As I said before, if you don't give a participation or a membership type to someone in your database, you're going to get charged affiliation fee for them. So you need to work out what participation type or what membership type they've got and apply that to them.
Do we know, Matt, the rough cutoff date of when clubs need to make sure that's done by before the next snapshot is taken?
Yeah, look, the date's not clear and it changes every year. I know it's taken after Christmas, so I would be getting clubs to do this now. So coming into your new pennant season is your time to update all your club memberships. We found a lot of clubs who had an expiry date in April or May were getting found out a little bit because their membership type has expired and they're trying to enter BV or BA events. So a 30 June expiry is pretty good. So if you do have an earlier expiry, you're just going to have to be switched on to your membership types and update them so that your members can still enter events or start to move to a 30 June expiry. But I would have this all sorted before Christmas, Mel.
We might send some communication out around that as well as a reminder before the end of the year.
Yeah, so prior to Christmas, you clearly identify all of your members and they're identified correctly.
Yep. Well, we don't have any further questions from those that have joined us today, Matt, unless there's anything that you want to add.
I think I've spoken enough, Mel, to be honest. Yeah, look, as I mentioned, I'm the main point of support for Bowlslink in Victoria. If you've got any questions, shoot me an email or give me a call. Look out for some competition training that will probably start to run a little bit later this year. I think I'm going to work with the BA Bowlslink manager and do some training on how to create your own club champs. Bowlslink runs tournaments really well, so you can take your registration, your payment, and then fixture it straight away, and members can see results. So I'd be pushing clubs to think about Bowlslink for tournaments, and we'll do our best to provide you training and support.
And do you want to just briefly touch on the next 3 of these webinars that are coming up?
So I'll share my slideshow again, Mel, and we'll have a look at the next one. So here's a slide just showing, obviously we've ticked off today's one. Next week we've got the selectors one. This is really popular, Mel. I think there's a lot of selection committees getting formed at the moment and need some training. So I really recommend jumping into next Monday's one, live replay on the 12th of September. Like we do every year, we'll go through the COPs. They're still in draft mode at the moment, getting finalised mid-September. So this webinar will be after the final version of those, just to talk about changes and some commonly misunderstood conditions. And we'll finish off the month with side manager training. Really important unit of training there to make sure all our side managers who are managing their sides, they know the COPs and they also know how to do the result process in Bowlslink. All right, I think that might be enough from us, Mel. Thank you for manning the questions. Great to see everyone jumping on today, and we'll see them again live for a replay on Friday.
Very good. Well done, Matt.
Thank you. See everyone.
Bye.